In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Gospel of John. And now, I would like to read excerpts from the book Leaves of Gold, which is filled with words from God, about God, and for God and His people. Stories, sayings, phrases, and tales compiled by its editors to offer spiritual comfort, hope, and morality in a world rapidly losing its way. Please do pardon my accent in some pronunciations. Thank you. Leaves of Gold. Forward. Poor indeed is the man whose mind is not enriched by some phrase of lasting truth and beauty which serves to restore his soul in the exigencies of life. Each of us needs in his heart's treasury the memory of a lovely line to renew fellowship with the great and noble of this earth. And, indeed, almost as great as the ability to write a line of strength is the ability to use that line to higher levels of emotion and achievement. To discover afresh in truth expressed with elemental force our eternal kinship with God is a universal urge. Leaves of Gold had its origin in the recognition of this impulse. From those who spoke with authority have been chosen words in which the Word becomes flesh to dwell among us. Here are maxims, phrases, anecdotes, passages, proverbs, and essays from the best minds among men. Here are words of wisdom and thoughts of comfort for all mankind. Consolation is the objective of Leaves of Gold, to provide a key to things of the Spirit as inspiration for daily living its design. All the Word. There is an enduring tenderness in the love of a mother to a son that transcends all other affections of the heart. It is neither to be chilled by selfishness, nor daunted by danger, nor weakened by worthlessness, nor stiffened by ingratitude. She will sacrifice every comfort to his convenience. She will surrender every pleasure to his enjoyment. She will glory in his fame and exult in his prosperity. And if misfortune overtake him, he will be the dearer to her from misfortune. And if disgrace settle upon his name, she will still love and cherish him in spite of his disgrace. And if all the world besides cast him off, she will be all the world to him. Washington Irving. Where the search ends. I searched the world over for God and found him in my heart, said Augustine. In the heart of the believer, a still small voice speaks in clearest accents, bearing witness with our spirits that we are the children of God. Nothing on earth is so heavenly as that, so like the voice of angels singing in the silence. It is as clear as bells at eventide. It is assuring like the familiar voice of a friend, beloved. The Holy Spirit speaking in the secret chambers of the heart is the climax of God's revelation to us. Heaven satisfies. If a child were to ask me if there would be harps and pianos, yes, and hobby horses in heaven, I would tell him yes. That is, if he was fond of those things, because that would be the truest answer I could make him. What should I mean by it? It would be that there would be that there which would just as nicely fit into his heavenly desires as the hobby horse does into his earthly desires. Heaven means satisfaction, and if it takes a hobby horse to satisfy him now, and I tell him there will be nothing of that kind there, then to him I make heaven unsatisfactory, and so falsify the fact. There is an untruthful way of telling the truth and a truthful way of telling an untruth. Parkhurst. Conquerors. In this world, he that is today conqueror may tomorrow himself be defeated. Pompey is eclipsed by Caesar, and then Caesar falls by the hands of conspirators. Napoleon conquered nearly all Europe and was then himself conquered. But the Christian's conquest of death is absolute. The result is final. He has vanquished the last enemy and has no more battles to fight. Foster. Death to a good man is but passing through a dark entry out of one little dusky room of his father's house into another that is fair and large, lightsome and glorious and divinely entertaining. A. Clarke. The watcher. She always leaned to watch for us, anxious if we were late, in winter by the window, in summer by the gate. And though we mocked her tenderly, who had such foolish care, the long way home would seem more safe, because she waited there. Her thoughts were all so full of us, she never could forget, and so I think that where she is, she must be watching yet. Waiting till we come home to her, anxious if we are late, watching from heaven's window, leaning from heaven's gate. Margaret Widemer. Joys of home. Curling smoke from a chimney low, and only a few more steps to go. Faces pressed at the window pane, watching for someone to come again. And I am the someone they want to see. These are the joys life gives to me. So let me come home at night and rest with those who know I have done my best. Let the wife rejoice and my children smile, and I know by their love that I am worth a while. For this is conquest and worth success, a home where abideth happiness. Edgar A. Guest. Peace at home. He is happiest, be he king or peasant, who finds peace in his home. Goethe. Complete. The out and out Christian is a joyful Christian. The half and half Christian is the kind of Christian that a great many of you are. Little acquainted with the Lord. Why should we live halfway up the hill and sweated in the mists when we might have an unclouded sky and a radiant sun over our heads if we would climb higher and walk in the light of his face? Alexander MacLaren. Hearts is. Every house where love abides and friendship is a guest is surely home, and home, sweet home, for there the heart can rest. Henry Van Dyke. My mother, she was as good as goodness is. Her acts and all her words were kind, and high above all memories I hold the beauty of her mind. Frederick Hans Adams.